PumpFun explains meme hype, real investment. Did you know that Pump turns over millions every day, but actually doesn't have a real use case? So the question is, how can meme coins go so viral and still somehow be based on hard numbers? Today, I'll show you what's beneath the surface with my 10x formula for market share by 2030. And the best part, at the end, you'll find out what the real potential behind this meme hype actually is. Welcome to 10x by Marius, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. Why is no one really talking about PumpFun anymore? For a while, it was honestly a massive hype. The altcoin has millions in volume, and that's every day. And yet, many still believe it's just a memecoin. An analysis has shown that, despite the hype, there's actually a system behind it. But first, what actually is PumpFun? It's a platform on Solana. It makes it possible to launch your own meme coins in seconds, all without any code or programming knowledge. So, in the end, it's a meme launcher, but with real numbers and, above all, real demand. Now the question is, what's the use case? Well, fair launches, automated trading, creators also get, let's say, something back for it, and all of this is completely decentralized. That means anyone can launch, anyone can earn. The technology runs via its own AMM, that is, an automated market mechanism, but one that works without an order book. On top of that, there are exciting features like live stream token sales, creator wallets, and soon even a mobile app. You see, it's not just a memecoin hype, but rather an infrastructure for creators and an economy on Solana. So now the real question is it just a memecoin, or is it a launch engine for the next bull run wave? Make sure to stick around until the end, as you'll get price scenarios up to 2030 and find out whether it's even worth getting in at the moment. But before we get started, as always, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and if you appreciate my work and want to support me, become a 10x supporter on YouTube. It only costs you the price of a coffee per month, but it helps me out massively. Thank you very much for your support, but a quick disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. Now, as always, let's start with the market cap. What does the market cap look like? It's currently at $1.34 billion, so it's basically a mid-cap altcoin. And with mid-cap altcoins, there's definitely some potential, but of course, there's more potential with low caps. So, they're already in a solid position here. They already have quite high market caps, so they're not right at the bottom. And here's the thing, many coins with less use case are already valued much higher, but Pump has volume, investor money, and daily activity. That's something you should keep an eye on. Here, they've got a solid 7 points. Next, what does the circulating supply look like? In circulation, there are 354 billion out of 1 trillion tokens, which means about 35% are in circulation. That's good, but not ideal. It's still less, I'd say, than many other altcoins. Why's that? Well, a high circulation naturally means fewer surprises from unlocks and less price pressure. Here, it's like this. At least they're transparent here, because there are plenty of altcoins that hide their token distribution, but Pump is really transparent in this regard. By the way, if you want to buy altcoins, I recommend my favorite crypto exchange. I've linked all the information in the pinned comment, even with a tutorial. Have fun, and if you sign up using my link, you'll even get a bonus. Thanks for your support. Roadmap. There's no classic roadmap here like with other projects, I'd say, but there are working features, regular updates, community projects, for example, like Glassful forms. In this area, a solid 5. Next, how strong is the team? The team is anonymous, but not unknown. Co-founder Alan was previously active in Solana projects, and there are over 70 people on the team. In other words, they're building the platform live. However, they don't have any big names or VCs in the spotlight. That's why it's only a solid 6 here. Next, what about the narrative? This is where it gets interesting, because Pump stands for creator freedom, memecoin power. Exactly the kind of narrative that could take off in 2025. Memes, creator economy, decentralization. That really captures the spirit of the times. A strong 9. Next, What problem are they actually solving? PumpFun solves a real problem. How can anyone launch a token without coding, launch it fairly, and trade with the community? That simply didn't exist in this form before. A solid 8 here. Next point, sustainability. Solana, which they're based on here, is efficient. Pump was built on it, so that's proof of history. The sustainability is strong. Next, what about investors and capital? Now it's getting serious. $600 million have been invested by Sixth Man Ventures, Big Brain Holdings, Mechanism Capital, and Hyperchain, in fact. So, in other words, these aren't just memes or anything like that. This is real VC money, which is of course extremely strong. That's why it's a 9 here as well. Next point, what about the competition? How strong is the competition? Radium, Pumpkin, Moonshot, Bonkpad. Those are competitors, but none of them offer this level of simplicity for memecoins. So, in the end, they're actually quite unique. Pump also dominates in terms of volume and, the question is whether new players will be able to catch up in the future. At the moment, they're definitely strong here. 8. By the way, if you're interested in other altcoins, I've got a playlist called the 10x Universe where I've analyzed other altcoins, so feel free to check it out. The link is down in the video description, and for next weekend I've found 2 more altcoins in the low cap sector that are extremely exciting. Definitely subscribe to my channel now so you don't miss them. Next, what about marketing? From Telegram raids to livestream token sales. The marketing is run by the community, which is impressive. In addition, there are ads on DEX Screener, Bybit, and Kraken. So in other words, the result is high visibility despite a low budget. I'd give this a strong 8. Next, how simple is the idea behind PumpFun? In the end, it's easy to understand. 1 click and a coin is live. No wallet linking, no code, no hassle. I think launching tokens has never been this easy. And the concept, I think, is extremely straightforward. Even our parents would probably manage to launch a meme coin there. The other question, of course, is how good is that, really? The risk is still there, of course. But purely in terms of understanding and the technology, it's extremely easy to grasp. A 10 in this category. And the question for you, did I explain PumpFun to you simply? Did you even know what it was before? Or did you think it was just another simple meme coin? Let me know in the comments. Next point, long-term vision. Pump wants to be more than just a meme coin. As mentioned, create a platform, revenue sharing, app expansion. Will that work? That's unclear, but the plan is there. Here, a solid 7. Next, are they deflationary? There's no burn model, but they do have a max supply. This means that inflation risk is somewhat capped. But not optimal either. A burn model would of course be even better in this area. Then, what does it look like? Fully diluted market capitalization is 3.78 billion. Market cap is approximately 1.34 billion. The ratio is 2.8 times. That's strong. 10. Then, volume. What does PumpFun's liquidity actually look like? Tickletee's volume approximately $280 million US. Ratio 0.208. That's huge for a meme token. Quotes. Here, a strong 10. Then, what was the token distribution like at the beginning? Public ICO 15%. Pre-sale 12.5%. Team investors 32%. With a blocking period of 2 years. That's solid. 7. Then, what's the situation? What's the situation with top coin holders? Some wallets hold billions, but 93% of active wallets are bots, retail, or small investors. For example, airdrops help to spread the word. In this area, a solid 7. Then, what's the actual use of the token? Access to staking, creator tools, as mentioned, revenue sharing. Not a must, but definitely strong for usage. 6. Then, how strong is the community? X posts with over 100,000 views, live streams, games, meme coins, high activity on Telegram. So the community is extremely active, which means a strong 9. By the way, are you a holder of Pump? Are you a fan of Pump? Then let me know in the comments. #Pump. I read all the comments. What updates are coming this year? What's on the agenda? SDK launch, community accelerator, the mobile app, which is extremely important, and also revenue distribution to holders. So these are real drivers for 2025, which is strong. Do you know what surprised me? That of all things, a meme launcher gets one of the strongest data-driven ratings in the altcoin sector. Previously, I would have thought it would be another altcoin, and PumpFun was often laughed at as well. But the analysis shows there's actually more substance behind the hype than you might think. The market capitalization is still quite low, but the potential is high. The tokenomics are solid, 35% in circulation, but not massively good. The trading volume is extremely high. They have VC investors. They have hardly any competition in the launch pool market, especially on Solana with Memecoins. They have a strong and active community, and above all, the main use case is naturally for creators. With a score of 75.7%, they are, for a so-called meme coin, clearly above the average of other meme coins. As you can see here, I'll just bring up my Zenix ranking list, and Pump is in a good range here. Of all the altcoins analyzed, they are in the stable range, as you can see. My assessment, Pump is currently almost undervalued and everyone should have it on their watch list, because they are more than just a meme coin. Of course, it's important to note that this isn't an all-in, but it is definitely worth a look when building your portfolio. By the way, if you want to dive even deeper into the world of altcoins, a little self-promotion for my Zenix Elite, the smartest crypto community. What you get: insights into my personal portfolio, a full look into the Zenix ranking list, access to my learning platform, and much more. You'll find all the information, including a tutorial, in the video description. What many thought was just a meme coin is actually turning out to be a real platform for creators, traders, and token builders. And that's exactly what's reflected in its potential. Now let's move on to the price scenarios. Just imagine that the entire crypto market continues to grow over the next few years. That's not crazy, it's just logical, because more and more institutions, America, everyone is investing in cryptocurrency. Of course, the question always is, how much market share will the individual altcoins get? Let's now look at the price scenarios for PumpFun. As always, let's start with the bear scenario. Here, we'd either see a standstill or a reduction in price to, say, 0.0001. That would obviously be rather weak in the bear case, but of course, in a full-on bear market, it could go much lower. Now let's move on to the normal scenario. Here, Pump captures a larger market share because many people will realize that it's not just a meme coin. And in the end, meme coins in general would be back in fashion. In that case, price targets of $0.0008 would already be possible. But what about the optimistic price scenario? Because now things start to get a bit more interesting. If Pump establishes itself as the standard meme launch and continues to scale on Solana, with its market share steadily growing, then we're already talking about prices between $0.02 and $0.03. That would be a scenario which is already much more optimistic. But now let's move on to the extremely optimistic scenario. If Pump becomes the launch infrastructure for Solana, just as Uniswap once was for Ethereum in the DeFi sector, and the market share increases massively, then we're talking about price targets of $0.07 to $0.14. That's already extremely impressive. Of course, that's not guaranteed, but it's not impossible either. Now the question is, what will things look like in 2030? That means, in the next bull run, so to speak, after the next Bitcoin halving. By 2030, Memecoins might no longer be laughed at, especially PumpFun, because they're building on that and are not just a digital infrastructure for it, but ultimately provide real value for communities. If Pump then becomes the leader on the Solana chain and the coin continues to grow, with the infrastructure expanding as well, then price targets that seem unthinkable now become possible. We're then talking about price targets of $0.56. If you found this analysis interesting, I'll link you to another analysis here that you definitely shouldn't miss. Why this altcoin even surprised me, all of it right here. And if you don't want to miss any more altcoin analyses, then subscribe to my channel below and turn on the notification bell. Thank you and see you soon.